In this video, I'll be talking about three Nigerian superstars, at least three players with the potential of being absolute superstars. Of course, we know about Victor Osimhen, we know about Victor Boniface, and we know about a lot of other Nigerian footballing talents. But I want to talk about these three players. There's Tolu Akurodare. He's been scoring for Genk KRC Genk, been scoring tons and tons of goals. I think he's in double figures for goals and assists. I think that's 17, 17 for goals and assists. His goal contributions. So that's amazing. Goal stats, goal contribution stats. So he plays in Belgium, plays for KRC Genk, and is a player that I think should be invited to Nigerian Super Eagles. In my previous video, I mentioned him as well, but I just wanted to further highlight the player. He's tall, he's pacey, can hold the ball up. He has an eye for goal. So he's one player that I think should be invited to Nigerian Super Eagles. And because each time I talk about new players or fresh faces, what I get is, you know, this player has one nationality. He hasn't yet chosen to play for Nigeria, but this one has just Nigerian nationality, so there's no excuses. You're not trying to convince him to switch allegiances. So he's there. And then you also have Nathan Teller. Nathan Teller has been invited, I think, a couple of times. He was invited once by Pesero, and then the second time by Augustin Guavon. And then he had to leave for some family issues, but he's been on fine form the past couple of games. He scored a brilliant stunning strike against Dortmund to help his Bayer Leverkusen side, to a 3-1 victory. 3-1 victory. And, he's been very, very good for them. So hopefully he's someone we get to see, because I think he has absolute superstar potential. And then the next one is a young kid that we just have to talk about. I just learned about him not too long ago, but when I looked at this, did my research, looked at some videos, watched him play, I said, no, this boy should definitely be invited to the Super Eagles. Why I say this is, if this player's name was Romario or Estevayo or Lionel Kaisi, for instance, if it was Argentine, if it was Brazilian, if it was English, he would have at this point been ranked as one of the top 10, 20 wonder kids. But at this moment, he's not ranked in that sort of he's not so highly ranked. And one thing I've always been saying is, it's good if an European scouting body or an European publication, someone from Brazil talks about a footballing talent who was from Nigeria and says, oh, he's wonderful, he's an amazing player. If they give Nigerian players props, that is wonderful. That is lovely. But many times it doesn't happen. And I think it is our responsibility to try, to spotlight and highlight these players. I keep saying it on my videos if you're a regular viewer. So, as I said, regular viewer, if you're here for the first time, please, thanks. I want to thank you for taking your time out of your lovely Sunday to watch this video, but also subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so you're notified each time I go live or post a pre-recorded video on YouTube here. So let's go on. So while it is important to say, or while it would be nice, it would be lovely and ideal to have, Talk Sport, for instance, Sky Sports, for instance, talk about these players and give them props. It would be nice, but it doesn't happen. So what are you going to do? You have to praise your own thing yourself, and not just praising players just because you want to praise them. For me, I've seen this boy and I've seen his talent. It's amazing the way the boy plays, his skill, his pace, his flair. And he is a teammate of Tolu Akurodare. His name is Noah Adedeji Stanberg. I've talked about him in a previous video in a short, so you can go check out that video as well. Not now, but after you finish watching this video, you can also watch that video. He's someone who's pacey, got skills for days. I think his dad is Nigerian, his mom is German, and he also has some connection to Belgium, so he is eligible to play for Germany, Belgium, and Nigeria. But for me, all the way, I wanted to play for Nigeria, because one thing is, we can't keep losing prime targets, to other countries to England, to Denmark, to Germany. Jamal Musiala is off at Germany, you know, doing amazing for them. Karim Adeyemi, unfortunately, at this minute, he is stuck, in sort of limbo land. Right now, he wants to play for Nigeria, but it's a bit tight, a bit confused. I think under new FIFA rules, he should be able to play for Nigeria, to switch his allegiances to Nigeria. But I think he should change his lawyers. If he's really taking my advice, change his lawyers and look for new lawyers that can approach CAS, Court for Arbitration for Sports, and then possibly could have a landmark ruling, because sometimes this court of arbitration for sports, they come up with landmark rulings. For instance, you have the last one, the Bosman, before players couldn't leave, forgive me for digressing a bit, but years ago, players couldn't just leave at the end of their contracts. But with the Bosman ruling, a player took, the club's court and everything, and was and then we had the ruling known as the Bosman ruling, which is essentially if you come to the end of your contract as a player, then you can go as a free agent, just how you have, I think, Mbappe going to Real Madrid as a free agent. So those sort of things can happen. So I think Karim Adeyemi should do that. But it's going to be a tough battle. But whilst we still wait on the likes of Karim Adeyemi to switch, if that will be possible, I think we can't keep losing top talents to other countries. That's my honest opinion. And when people talk about Ademola Lookman, oh, he wanted to play for Nigeria, he showed he wanted to play. There's something that people don't get. Ademola Lookman would have played for England if England wanted him to play, if circumstances played out a bit differently, in my humble opinion. Because there's one thing about England media, how they view players. If you Once you leave the Premier League, it's very, very difficult for you to be taken seriously or ranked at the same level as players, English players that play in the Premier League. That's just the truth. You may say it's fair, it's unfair, blah blah blah. That's the truth. Once you leave the English league, Premier League, it's almost like your career is no longer, it's a non-starter. Tomori left Chelsea, went to AC Milan. No one uh, sees him anymore. So the same thing applied to Ademola Lookman, and especially it seemed like his career was on the downturn because he had gone on loan. You know, he had gone on loan to Leipzig to sign him. He came back and then, got loaned to Fulham. He missed that penalty. He tried to Panenka. He missed the penalty, and everyone was looking at him like, "Oh, this one is not all that it's cracked up to be." And then he, went to Atlanta, was sold to Atlanta, and kudos to him and kudos to Gasperini, the coach of Atlanta. He used him rightly. Whatever he spoke to him, whatever he gave him to eat, just he became a superstar, scoring goals, creating assists, Nations Cup. So, and then he decided to switch to Nigeria. So that's good. But we can't keep waiting for players, for other countries to stop looking at players, and then that's when we think we can get them. And we can't keep waiting for players, to just say, "Oh, I want to play for you." That's the only time we want to go for them. If you see a player that has the ability to make you win, to help you win, in my honest opinion, in my humble opinion, I think you should do all you can to get that player to play for you, to wear your national colors. People would like to say, "Oh, we don't want to beg anybody." No, you're not begging anybody. George Kenna, right at the minute, can play for only Nigeria because he has Nigerian nationality. But France are doing all it takes to get him to play for them. They're trying to, fast track. The FFF they're trying to put pressure on the immigration bodies and everything to fast track his naturalization. So now this is France. So the World Cup winners, the European Cup winners, they're always there and thereabout when it comes to international competitions, and they are looking to get a player to play for them. So what are you talking about? This is a player I think Nigeria should do all it takes to get. George Linikena is another one, but these three are the ones I'm focusing on today. But before I continue talking about these players and where I think they can fit in the Nigerian national team, uh, I want to say this. I want to talk about a bit about Eric Chelle. the Malian coach, has been appointed as the Nigeria's new head coach. I think he had some issues with his club, is the Omar FC, and talks about him staying. The club wanting to stay, but he said reportedly that he cannot turn down the opportunity to coach one of Africa's biggest national teams and the world and biggest national teams in the world as well. Now, on the one hand, he's not wrong, but on the other hand, I want to talk about the NFF. It's time, I think, the Nigerian Football Federation gets its act in order. It's time the Nigerian Football Federation starts doing things the right way, in my honest opinion. You know, you don't just announce a coach that he's your head coach, and then you still have some contractual issues or legal issues or just unclear things because it doesn't give you a good look. It makes you look like you're confused. It makes you look like you're disorganized. So, and that's not what you want to do. That's not how you want the world to perceive you, and that's not how you actually want to operate. So hopefully everything is cleared up, and by Monday he arrives in Nigeria and is unveiled as the new head coach of Nigeria Super Eagles. I really want to see what he can do. I know a lot of people are coming out trying to criticize the man. For me, I'm not going to criticize him. Let him play. As the kids would say, let him cook. People are talking about, oh, our national team players, oh, ex internationals. How many of our ex international players have their UEFA coaching badges? How many of them even have their CAF coaching badges? You know, and even with this present generation, you're working, you're playing, you're coming towards the end of your career. How many of them have maybe an agency? How many of them, have their what's it called? Have their coaching have started, you know, the courses for their coaching badges? How many of them? Not many. So you don't expect to get the Super Eagles job not having the right qualifications. And then the second part as well that we must talk about, that we can't overlook is the state of the Nigerian Premier League. The state of the Nigerian Premier Football League is not the best. If the Nigerian Premier Football League is top level league and you can truthfully without lying pump your chest and say yes it is the best in Africa in terms of organization, in terms of technology, in terms of playing talent, then you can start looking at the Nigerian Professional Football League to say, okay, maybe we get our top coaches from there because they're actually, delivering actually a tough, strong league. Nigerian Professional Football League, the best players always leave, and you can't blame them. I can't blame anyone who leaves Nigerian Professional Football League because we watch football to enjoy it. Footballers, they enjoy playing it, but it is a job. They have to earn a living for themselves. They have to earn a living for their families, you know. And if you're maybe in the Nigerian Premier League, you earn 500,000 naira a month, and then, a club in Moldova offers you upwards of maybe 2 to 3 million naira equivalent a month, then you'll be gone. Then you would be gone. You wouldn't be there anymore. Think about it. If you're doing a job now, maybe as a doctor, lawyer, accountant, project manager, whatever job you're doing, if you're earning, let's say, 100,000 naira, and then you get another company offering you 600,000 naira, you would leave. So that is the thing. People keep talking about, home-based coaches. The NPFL has the potential to be a top league, maybe just a bit under European the top five European leagues, but still potential that has to worked on. Now, talking about these players, Tolu Akododare, in one of the from if you, one of my last videos, you can go and watch it after this one. I talked about him pairing with Victor Osimhen because he's that kind of striker. He's pacey, strong, good on the ball, has an eye for goal, so he can pair with Victor Osimhen. And then Nuwa Adedeji can play in that number 10 role. He can play wide on the right and wide on the left as well. I know he prefers to play wide on the left because that's how it is for modern football. Once you're a winger, you coaches like to play and players prefer to play on the wing that is their weaker foot, so they can cut into their stronger foot and shoot, or swing crosses into the box. So that's where he can fit in my opinion. Nathan Teller, similarly as well, he can fit in on either wing as well, and he does have an eye for goal. So I think that's someone that can be brought in as well. That should be considered as well. I know he's got two invitations, one cap and one invitation that he didn't get to play. So we'll get him in there. So these are Nigerian superstars that are the new faces, the new superstars that we should look at getting on board. And don't tell me he's not Lamine Yamal. I know he's not Lamine Yamal, but Lamine Yamal was given opportunity, to play for Spain. Same thing. Don't tell me he's not Estevao William. Well, in terms of skill set, I don't think there's anything Estevao William can do that Noah Adedeji can't do in terms of raw skill, ability, technique on the ball. I don't think so. I'm sorry. I don't. In fact, I'm not sorry because that's just the plain truth. There's nothing you can do. It's just a question of platform. Now, I want to say this, and I want you to go home with this as well. People like talking about, oh, this player is a generational talent. Have you ever considered the fact that that person, while that player has a talent, he or she may actually just have a generational platform? Because people don't know what the likes of Pele and Maradona have done for Brazil and you know Argentine national teams and players respectively. Because now everyone wants to get, oh, he reminds me of Pele, he reminds me of Maradona. So sometimes the player may not be that fantastic, but because he's Brazilian, he has a skill, you want to get him on board. So I think Noah Adedeji is a future superstar. NFF should do what it takes to get him. Same thing to Ola Korodare. He's scoring goals for fun. I think Victor Osimhen has given him a seal of approval as well. I think he should be invited in the next time around. Eric Chelle, this guy should be on your list. And Nathan Teller as well should be also invited. Now, in the comment section, let me know the players you would like to see as well. The other players you think that have superstar potential, that can play for Nigerian Super Eagles. I've mentioned this too on a live I did once, and they are Rio Ngoma. He played yesterday for Liverpool, and Tyreek George as well. He played for Chelsea in the FA Cup for Morecambe. So I know people say they have not yet switched national allegiances to Nigeria, but that's why you go for them. You go for them. You sell yourself. People don't say, oh, we don't want to sell ourselves. Oh, we don't want to. If we have to convince the player is not ready. That's nonsense talk. That's nonsense talk. You think Germany don't try to convince players? You think Holland don't try to convince players? You think England doesn't try to convince players? They do. So get off your high horse, NFF, and get these players to play for the Nigerian Super Eagles. Because lots of countries make this mistake. Your Ireland, to Scotland, they make this error of, oh, the player has to beg to play for us, have to come on our knees to play for us. If he or she doesn't want to, crawl on their knees to play for us, to paint our flags on their faces, then they're not ready. No, no, no. Do the utmost to get the best players that you can get to play for you, and then your team will progress as a result. So at this point, I've come to the end of today's video. It's turned out to be a longer video than I anticipated. But anyways, there it is. Please subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell to be notified each time I go live, and also share this video so other people can see and know about the channel. And subscriber count is growing gradually, so thanks for all those who have been subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, please just click that subscribe button if you would like to, and click the thumbs up button to show you like this video. It does help with the algorithm. So at this point, I've come to the end of today's video. Hopefully I'll see you on yet another video. Do have a splendid rest of your day.